Hi everyone, and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. Today I have a scrapbook process video to share with you. I already did a kind of like a prep video showing the pictures and showing some of the products that I pulled that I was thinking I was going to use for this particular layout. And so just kind of go back and look at the other video for that. If you want more information for the products. I'll kind of mention some of them as I'm going through here. These photographs are of my grandmother when she was very, very young. So I wanted to get them into an album before they got ruined or lost or wrecked. So with that being said, these are 5x7 photos, and I don't have the originals, but my sister had given me some prints that they got made up, and my aunt has the originals, but I didn't want to take the originals that I had and put them on the page. I wanted to, just in case I ruined them, I just didn't really want anything to happen to the originals. So I'll probably put the originals in with some journaling that I did, and I'll explain that in a minute. I just don't want to. I'd rather have these pictures in an album and on a scrapbook page than get lost forever or ruined. So here I took some of that dot vellum paper from the Fifth and Frolic. I used a ledger paper from the Fifth and Frolic, a pink kind of striped paper. It's got like a whole bunch of words wrote all over it. That's from the Fifth and Frolic. I used a large doily and I cut it in half, and each of those doilies is going to kind of like be under or on over top of one of those photos, just to kind of draw your attention to each of those photos. And then the other thing that I did was I took that large floral paper, and that's also from the Fifth and Frolic collection, and I cut out some of these really large flowers. My grandmother loved flowers, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I chose to use the flowers. But the other reason why is because in both pictures she's got either a corsage on or she's got a floral kind of piece in her hair. So I wanted to kind of emulate that a little bit. I took some of that American Crafts POW glitter, and yeah, I probably could have used the whole piece straight across, but I really like it, so I wanted to just cut the ends off and use it just to kind of get a little bit more out of my supplies. And that is a border strip from one of the Fifth and Frolic papers, that little blue strip paper. So here I'm just kind of monkeying around with some of the placement just to kind of see if I can do anything. And here is where I'm going to kind of get a little bit of creativity. I wanted to keep some of that gold vellum paper because I really, really like it. So I just cut it into strips because I knew roughly that I wanted two dots on the top, like 2 rows of dots on the top and 2 rows of dots on the bottom. So that way I could still get a little bit more use out of that gold vellum for other layouts. So again, just kind of fussing with the placement of some pieces here. And those doilies, I think those just came from Walmart. They weren't from a Studio Calico shop or anything like that. I'm pretty sure those ones came from Walmart. They were in my stash for quite a while and they were starting to curl, so I wanted to use them up. And here I'm going to take off the pictures and I'm going to start inking up the edges of everything with Vintage Photo. And I fast forwarded here because it was kind of tedious and mundane, and you guys kind of get the idea that I'm going to be inking all the edges. The only thing I didn't ink up the edges on was the gold vellum paper. So, and here is where I made a mistake, and I realized it after the fact. What I had done is I took a picture of the layers that I had just to kind of revert back to what I wanted, and I had this wrong. The doily was tucked in between the this gold vellum, and I totally screwed up. So I had to rip it off and put those doilies back on and then put the vellum on again. I was just trying to check for placement here. Just you'll see me using my phone here to kind of check for placement. So just going to put that ledger paper back down on that piece, and I have to do the same thing to the bottom. And it's a good thing I left a little bit extra here, because when you pull that gold dot vellum paper up, wherever the gold is, it peels off with the adhesive. So it's kind of a good thing that I gave myself a little bit of room for error on that. And again, here I'm just going back to the photo that I took of the layout. And I'm going to put the adhesive on the bottom of this pink piece, just so that it's kind of still floating underneath that vellum, but you can't see the adhesive. And I cut that book paper in half, because I was going to probably save the other half for the bottom, I thought, but I didn't end up using it. So here I'm kind of just fussing with the placement of that doily. It was just a little off, so I just moved it over just a little bit, and it overhangs off the edge, but I do end up cutting that part off. And just taking this floral piece, and it just had a weird shape on the edge there from where I had cut it apart from the other large floral. So I just kind of cut it straight, and you can tell that it's not supposed to be like that, but it's okay with me. And here I'm just adding that gold vellum, or that gold pal paper underneath, just to kind of see if that's the right placement that I wanted. And I started gluing this photo down, and I needed it over top of the other ones, so I needed to peel it back up again and then deal with the other photo, because that one was behind the other one. And I just needed to go back to the photos just to make sure I had the right placement before I stuck anything down. And that one still wasn't quite the way I wanted it to be. And just gluing it down, that gold paper, and I was just lining it up with the other side, because the other side, because it's a ledger paper, you could see where you're lining up to see if it's straight. So here I'm just again putting those photos back down, and here I'm going to cut a strip of, like a little piece of that border strip off, and tuck it underneath. And I don't remember if I used it there or not. I think I ended up moving it. So here I'm just attaching everything down, and it overhangs on the left or the right side of the layout, but I'm just going to cut those extra pieces off just to make everything flush with the page. And then I'm just going to add some of that ink up to it again, and then I'm going to cut that other part of that doily off. The book paper on the top, I'll end up cutting that off because it is overhanging a little bit, and I didn't catch it the first time. And these are, that little leaf piece is from the Fifth and Frolic, and I really wanted to use it because I wanted to bring a little bit more of this blue out. The blue really balances off the page quite well. It gives it a cooler look. The pinks and golds were starting to make it a little too warm, and when I added those the blue to it, it kind of cooled the page down a little bit, if you understand what I mean. It's just like you know, if you look at your photos and they look a little red, they call them warm, and if they look a little blue, then they call them cool. So yeah, you see me taking that border strip out now, and I put it at the top of that gold POW paper just to make a little bit more of a border. I had a lot of pink going on at the top, and I just wanted to add a little bit of blue up at the top. And that little cameo piece is from October Afternoon. It's from the Farmhouse collection. It's an old collection, but these are some stickers that I've had around for quite some time, and I just felt that I wanted to pull out some of my old stash to get it used up. So it felt really good to pull out an old item and use it. So here I'm just adding some pop dots to this floral piece, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I think I'm just thinking at this point if I want to add anything more to the top. And here I pull out some of these tags from the Fifth and Frolic collection that I thought maybe I could use, and I don't end up using them just because they were a little too big, and I just couldn't tuck them in behind those paper layers. And there I had pulled out some of those pebbles label stickers, and they look like those Dynamo label makers. And the one says about you and the other one says remember. And I just put them on the paper that had the little pop dots, just so that they don't get lost anywhere. And here I pull out some die cuts and I pull out some chipboard pieces, but I don't end up using them. I just had the floral paper element that I had fussy cut myself. It was enough going on in the page, and I was just worried if I put too much down, it would just look really cluttered and the pictures would get lost in the page, and I didn't want them to get lost in the page. So I didn't end up using them. I just put them to the side, but I don't end up using them at all. And I think at this point I'm just going to get ready to do my title, because I wanted to get my title on there before I lost the room or the spacing to put my title down. And here I'm just looking through my alpha stickers, and I pulled those white ones up against the photo, and the white didn't work very well because it's a cream base layout. There's the white from the doilies, but everything is so cream based that the white looked really wrong against it. So I didn't use them. And then I'm looking through my mini market stickers for my little subtitle, or my first part of my title, and I pulled out these ones from October Afternoon, but I don't end up using these because they had black on them, and there is black in the layout, but I just didn't want to have too much black going on. So I set them up there because I knew at this point, and it wasn't the right color of blue that the other paper strips were, so I don't end up using them. And I think that's another reason why I didn't use them as well, is because it wasn't the right coloring. So here I'm taking some Bliss American Crafts thickers, and these are from the Studio Calico Heyday collection. These are another old item that was in my bin that I ended up using. So this was another plus for me, is to use up some old product. And I spelled out the title Strong Woman because my grandmother was a very strong woman, both physically and mentally and everything else. Like, she was just a very tough woman. And here I pulled out these abroad stickers. These are from Studio Calico, and here I'm just looking at them just to make sure I have the right amount of letters to spell out U-R-A. So I am just taking them now, and that's another product that I used up that was from my old stash. And I put everything on wax paper just so that I could see what it looks like on the layout without kind of covering everything up. And here I'm just cutting off some pieces that were overhanging. So here I'm just inking up that photo paper again, just because it lost a little bit when I cut it off. And I knew I needed something behind that URA because it was kind of getting lost on the photo a little bit. So you'll see me kind of, I'm just putting everything back on the page just to kind of see how it fits in with everything else. And those are some, it says Love Life, and those are some KI memory stickers, and they are from, I think they are from some sort of capture, I think it's called Captured or something like that. It's their memory, kind of like memory paper collection. And here I wanted to add another border sticker underneath because there was a lot of this bright pink up at the top but nothing on the bottom. So I used this little paper strip, and I think it's from the Paper Heart collection. I used two borders, and you'll see the other one coming up, and the other one is from Little Bo Peep, and I think the Little Bo Peep one is the other border strip. I'm pretty sure this one comes from the Paper Heart collection. So I'm just looking at, I really like how that border strip kind of balanced off the page. It was kind of needing a little bit of something at the bottom. And here I'm taking this Gulf Dot, this is designer tape. It's not really washi tape, it's called designer tape. Washi tape's clear, and this stuff is not clear. It's opaque, I guess you would say. And I just laying it across all the way because I needed something to give my title to sit on. I didn't like how it was floating. So I really like that, and then that gave me a little bit more pop of blue that I could add in. So here I am realizing, and you'll see me do this in a second, that I need to ink those up in gold. Well, sorry, it's not gold, it's tarnished brass distress stain. So here I pull that out, but I need to pull that washi tape off. I wanted to add a little bit more gold element into this layout. So here I'm using the distress stain, and I'm just slathering it on, pouring it on, pushing it on. I'm not sure what you would say. And then I'm just really kind of wiping it off, and the brass is too brassy looking, but if you wipe it off right away, it gives a gold look to it, and I really like that. And then here I'm going to take that Gulf Dot paper and put it underneath, and now you can really see that pop of blue underneath that sticker. And here I'm going to do it to the other one. And so I'm just going to set those aside for a minute while I come back to my layout and make sure it's what I wanted to do or to be. And I still am having a hard time with that title up at the top. And I know now that I want to use that leaf up at the top there. Here coming, this is some more Bella Boulevard designer tape. And that one is called Piggy Pink, it's called. And I just used a little bit too much of it here, so you're going to see me kind of rip off a little bit. It's just a little too far into the photo. And then I wanted to add a little bit of pink into the other side just to balance it off. So here I put it on the other side as a border, and I'm going to add it to the other side here. And you don't see very much of that pink, but it definitely needed that. And that's that Remember label piece, and I wanted to really use that, so I'm just going to stick it down on this wax paper for right now until I can figure out where I want to place it. And here I'm going to add some more pop dots to this other flower, And I'm kind of pushing down on it to see if I need to add more pop dots anywhere, just before I stick it down. And here I'm going to finally attach that flower piece. And when I cut it off, I realized I had my flower on the wrong way and it was too late. So what, I don't know if you'll see it on camera, my pet's probably going to be in the way, but I'll just kind of cut a little bit of shaping into the bottom piece of that flower so it doesn't look cut off. And you probably can't see it really well right now, but maybe in the close-ups you can. And here I'm going to add that remember to the bottom of the photo, and that little flower just kind of almost points the way to that little sticker. So here I'm just pulling off the pop dots on the other side of that, the other floral piece for the other side, I should say. And then I'm going to add these little label pieces, and it says Love Life. And those are the ones that I made with the distress stain. And then I think I'm going to put down my title. I muck around with this these 3 apples because my grandmother was a teacher. I just thought it would signify that she was a teacher, but I don't end up using them. And this is some Gold Lame Color Shine, and I just wanted to add a little bit of gold to certain elements, and it's a little hint of gold. It is not a big splash of gold. I didn't want the gold to be too overpowering here, so it's just a tiny, tiny splash of gold. And then the other thing I did is I went over to this floral piece just because it was so big. I felt like it needed to have a little touch of something to it. And you won't be able to see, and I'm going to fast forward here, but you aren't going to be able to see the gold shining through, but in real life you can see, depends on which way you tilt the page, whether you can see the gold tinting or not, and it looks really pretty. It's just a hint of it, and it looks really nice. So here I'm adding my title down finally. And I'm just using that strip of washi tape as a guideline to put my photo on, or my title on, just to keep everything all nice and straight. So, and I try monkeying around with that chipboard flower, but I know at this point it's just not going to work. And then I have this other label piece, and it's just not the right color pink, so I don't end up using it either. And I wanted to add a little bit of more coloring up at the top. So here I had this washi tape, and this was in the Studio Calico kit for March. So this is brand new. And this label piece here on this washi tape says, "Remember this." And it's pretty close to the same color of like bluey aqua kind of looking color that's in the other washi tape, so it doesn't look like it's competing with the other colors. So I just tucked that in behind the cameo piece, and then you saw me sticking down finally the top part of my title. And here I'm coming to these little Bo Peep stickers, and I'm going to peel off this circle one just to add a little bit of pop more of this light blue. And so I'm going to tuck that in behind, and some of this is going to get covered up. My head's in the way. I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way my camera angle is. Sometimes I have to get right in there just to make sure my placement of certain things is right. And that blue kind of got a little lost in with the title letters. So here I'm going to take some more of this golf dot washi tape, and I'm only going to tuck half of it in, or I guess you're only going to see half of it, or not even half of it, and it's just going to be that pop of blue, and that'll balance off the layout because I used it in the bottom. I'm going to use it again in the top. And here I finally stick down those little feather pieces. So I really like that, and I just removed that washi tape because it wasn't all the way across. It had a little bit of a rip in it, so I just took another new piece and just wrapped it around to make it balanced. And then I'm going to add some enamel dots just for a pop of dimension and color. It's definitely one of my go-to supplies at this point, just because it's so easy to add to the layouts. I almost use it in place of brads because brads, I don't really like to put holes in my paper at all. So I find these are my version of a brad. I almost wish sometimes they would make them in almost different patterns or something like that, so that they could be totally replaced with brads. So there's $1 million idea out there for somebody. Just giving them away. Anyway, so here I'm going to add some enamel dots to the middle of this large floral just to add a little bit more accent to draw your eye into it. And then I'm going to add some blue dots to the top and the bottom of that floral piece, and I'm pretty much done. I think I come back and I add a couple more things. Yeah, so here's, no, I add another couple label stickers at the end, but you'll see them in the close-ups. So here is the layout. And I really like how it turned out. And you can see a little bit of that gold there on that floral. And here's what I did to my journaling. I did 3.5 pages of writing on stories of my, like a story of my grandmother, and as much information as I possibly could. And then I just put elements of the paper designs into the layouts. I cut the last page off just because I have my grandmother's info on there and I don't feel comfortable sharing with it. But here's the close-ups, and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.